Hi, welcome to today's show. Today we're going to talk about river cruising. Normally when we talk about river cruising, you think of Europe, the Rhine, the Danube, but today's guest is going to talk to us about American river cruising, the next big thing to hit the market. Today I have with me Cindy Christian from American Cruise Lines, who's going to talk to us about what American Cruise Lines is offering the discerning tourist. First, Cindy, talk to us about the rivers that your ships are on.
Okay, well, this is American Cruise Lines, and we cover all the rivers and inland waterways that are navigable in the United States.
You've already lost me.
We have so much to see right here in the United States that you don't need to leave. You can come right here and see. So probably the rivers that you think about most that we have, we offer, of course, the Mississippi, the entire Mississippi, which would start in New Orleans to Minneapolis, St. Paul. We also do the Columbia and Snake, and that would be from Portland to Clarkston, Portland, Oregon to Clarkston. That's very, very popular. And then we have the inland waterways that we do, and we do these on coastal ships. And we've got one right here in Florida that goes from Jacksonville round trip on our Great Rivers of Florida. We've also got a historic south that goes from Jacksonville to Charleston.
Oh, wow.
And then one that goes the East Coast Inland Passage, which goes all the way up to Baltimore. We've got the Maine Coast. We've got the Hudson River. We also have out in the Pacific Northwest, we've got the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands. We also have Alaska, that we do a Southeast Alaska and an inside passage. And then we have some others that do New England islands, the Grand New England. We have the American Revolution that we do round trip from Baltimore. So we've got just a lot of they're all, great itineraries with a lot of history.
What sounds like no matter where you live in the United States, an American Cruise Line ship is not that far away.
That's right.
And I will tell you, for those of you that love whales, San Juan Islands are known for having 2 pods of orca whales that live there year-round.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite places, San Juan Island, so it gets me. So tell me the type of ships you have. I know everybody likes to think of paddle wheel ships. Do you have a paddle wheel ship?
Of course we do. When you think of river cruising in the United States, you think of the paddle wheelers, and we have 4 authentic paddle wheelers that our company built. And we have 2 of them on the Mississippi, and we have 2 on the Columbia and Snake. And they range in size from 100 passengers to our largest, which is 185. They all have interior entrances. They have really large, nice size stateroom, and they're decorated very nostalgic with a Victorian accent. So it brings you back into that time.
So if you're on one of these ships, what type of activities would you be doing while the ship is sailing?
Well, we have on board, we have lecturers, we have historians, we have what we call riverlorians, and all along the river they're going to be telling you about the history of the river and things you're going to see. So for example, if you're out on the Columbia and Snake, this is the passage that Lewis and Clark took, the Lewis and Clark Trail. So in a lot of those departures, we'll have the theme of the Lewis and Clark.
Nice.
So there's lots of things to see. Of course, beautiful sights to see, and we tried to include some very memorable activities and excursions for our guests that are going to bring all that in. Also, for example, the Columbia and Snake is known for all the wineries they have out there in the Columbia Valley.
And breweries for you beer drinkers.
Yes. And then, of course, the Mississippi is just full of history. We've got the Civil War. We have also the music that we do, the jazz, blues, country. So lots of things to see on the Mississippi. Mark Twain, the Hannibal, Missouri.
But it would be fair to say everything is pretty much geared towards American history and American culture.
Right.
Right.
So when you get on board our ships, it's just the good old USA. It's just, it's a really comfortable atmosphere. You're right here in your own backyard. You're getting to see all the history because people come from all around the world for our history.
Right.
And, I'm guilty myself of not seeing enough of my own country. But we have so much amazing history and things right here to see in the United States. That we can explore ourselves.
Tell me what types of food then are on board a ship, because I'm thinking Americans, so hamburgers, hot dogs, what really do they serve on board the ships?
Well, we have locally sourced cuisine. So we bring on the fresh meats, fish, fruits, vegetables every day. We have really hearty meals. Very hearty breakfast, lunch, and dinners. We also do some buffets that we'll do out on the top deck, maybe
nice.
barbecues and things like that. But if you're doing some of the itineraries on the Maine coast or in New England, you're going to get the crab fest or the lobster bake.
Oh, so it's all local then. So
yes.
Maybe in New Orleans you might be doing jambalaya or something like that.
Absolutely. Right.
Going through Memphis or I'm not very good with my geology. It might be barbecue one night or something on the menu, very American themed.
Yes.
And then New England, of course, a crab fest.
Right,
that's
and the lobster bake. I mean, those are really popular, and we try to do a lot of them. We operate those itineraries in the summertime, and we do a lot of departures that are themed that way. And of course, there's not too many people that don't like lobster bake or crab fest.
It brings me back to when I was much younger, when I used to go to a store in Rhode Island where you could buy a pot. They called it a lobster pot, and it was full of clams and lobsters and you name it. So that's pretty exciting. Do you operate year-round?
Well, we have different programs that operate at different times. So the coastal ships that are up there on the Maine coast in New England, they operate into the fall or early December. The Columbian snake operates until the latter part of November. But in the Mississippi operates through the month of December, where we actually have the Christmas markets or holiday markets on the lower Mississippi, because all of those towns are decorated and they get into the spirit of the season and everything. So, but we have the coastal ship in Florida that operates, of course, during the winter time.
Of course.
So a lot of the itineraries and the ships are not operating, during the winter. But we're back out in late April.
So let me ask you the all-important question. If I want to take my 10-year-old and 14-year-old on an American Cruise Line cruise, are they going to have a good time, or is it really geared for the more adult traveler?
It's geared to the more adult. Our demographics range about 65 plus, but they're a very active traveler. There's still a lot of adventure. We get some of that, what we call skip generation, which is going to be the grandparents with the grandchildren. And of course, this is a great opportunity to show them history.
Absolutely.
We have so much history. And I also want to mention, you asked me about the ships. We do have a new type of ship coming out, which is our new American Song, which is a new modern riverboat.
Okay, so it would not be a paddle wheel. It's more the modern type, like we see over in Europe.
It's going to be it looks similar to those river cruise ships you see in Europe.
Awesome.
So we have three types of ships. We have the paddle wheels, we have the coastal ships that do the inland waterways, and then we have the new modern river boats, which allow us to go extremely remote. And we have we're going to place the first one out of a series of 5 on the lower Mississippi. And all along our fleet, we have very large staterooms, and this will be really quite amazing to see on the U.S. waterways. So that's what's exciting.
One last question before we have to wrap up this segment is, what about entertainment? Do you have types of shows, or is it local shows?
Of course, we have to entertain our guests. So we have local entertainment that we bring on board, dancers, musicians, different types of bands. We also have historians. We have the River Lorians. We also have naturalists that we have on our Alaska and our San Juan Island programs. So we have that. And what we do feature in the programs is your featured shore excursions, beer and wine at lunch and dinner, as well as a 1-hour cocktail party. Your gratuities are also included as well in the programs.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank Cindy for joining us today. And remember, American River Cruises are also for the discerning traveler. Thanks and have a great trip.